Welcome to Veil of the Bible, where ancient stories come alive with profound meaning. I'm your narrator, bringing you biblical tales that speak directly to the human heart. Today, we embark on a journey that will shake your understanding of success, wisdom, and life's true purpose. If you're new here, this channel specializes in biblical narratives told with depth and relevance for our modern lives. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your engagement helps us reach more souls seeking truth and meaning. Tonight, we explore the most paradoxical story in Scripture, a man who had everything yet found nothing. The wisest king who ever lived, who discovered that ultimate success can lead to ultimate emptiness. Prepare yourself for Solomon's shocking revelation about the vanity of human existence. Our story begins in ancient Israel, around 970 BC. King David has died, and his young son Solomon ascends to the throne. Unlike his father, Solomon inherited a peaceful kingdom, no wars to fight, no enemies at the gates. Yet with great power came even greater responsibility. One night, God appeared to Solomon in a dream at Gibeon. "Ask for whatever you want me to give you," the Almighty offered. Imagine that moment, the Creator of the universe offering you anything your heart desires. What would you choose? Wealth? Long life? Victory over enemies? Solomon's answer revealed his character. "Give your servant a discerning heart to govern your people and to distinguish between right and wrong." He asked for wisdom, not for personal gain, but to serve others well. This selfless request pleased God immensely. God granted Solomon's request abundantly. "I will give you a wise and discerning heart, so that there will never have been anyone like you, nor will there ever be." But God added more, riches and honor beyond measure. Solomon would become the wisest and wealthiest king in history. Solomon's wisdom quickly became legendary. Two women came before him, both claiming the same baby as their own. In a stroke of genius, Solomon ordered the child to be cut in half. The real mother immediately cried out to spare the child, while the impostor agreed to the division. Word of Solomon's judgment spread throughout the land. When all Israel heard the verdict the king had given, they held the king in awe, because they saw that he had wisdom from God to administer justice. His reputation grew beyond Israel's borders. Solomon began his most ambitious project, building God's temple in Jerusalem. For 7 years, the finest craftsmen worked with gold, silver, and precious stones. The temple became a wonder of the ancient world, drawing visitors from distant nations who came to witness its magnificence. The Queen of Sheba traveled over 1,000 miles to test Solomon's wisdom. She came with hard questions, expecting to stump the famous king. Instead, Solomon answered all her questions. Nothing was too hard for the king to explain to her. She was utterly amazed. The Queen of Sheba said to the king, "The report I heard in my own country about your achievements and your wisdom is true. But I did not believe these things until I came and saw with my own eyes. Indeed, not even half was told me." Solomon had reached the pinnacle of human achievement. Solomon's wealth became incomprehensible. The king made silver as common in Jerusalem as stones, and cedar as plentiful as sycamore fig trees in the foothills. His annual income was 666 talents of gold, equivalent to billions in today's currency. Kings and queens from around the world sent gifts and tribute to Solomon. His fame spread to every corner of the known world. He had achieved what every ruler dreams of: universal recognition, unlimited wealth, and divine wisdom. Yet something was stirring in his heart. At the height of his success, Solomon possessed everything humanity considers valuable: wisdom beyond measure, wealth beyond counting, power beyond challenge, and fame beyond borders. He stood at the summit of human achievement, looking down at a world that bowed before him. But success, as Solomon was about to discover, can be the most dangerous trap of all. When you have everything the world offers, when every desire can be fulfilled instantly, when every pleasure is within reach, what happens to the human soul? What happens when the chase ends? Solomon began to feel restless. Having conquered wisdom, wealth, and fame, he started seeking new experiences. I said to myself, "Come now, I will test you with pleasure to find out what is good." This decision would lead him down a dark path of experimentation. The king, who once sought wisdom to serve others, began seeking experiences to serve himself. He would explore every avenue of human pleasure, every possible source of satisfaction. This marked the beginning of his descent from divine wisdom to human vanity. Solomon embarked on a systematic exploration of pleasure. I tried cheering myself with wine and embracing folly, my mind still guiding me with wisdom. I wanted to see what was good for people to do under the heavens during the few days of their lives. He would test everything. First came the construction projects. Solomon built houses for himself, planted vineyards, made gardens and parks. I made reservoirs to water groves of flourishing trees. He created artificial paradises, bending nature to his will, trying to find satisfaction in human achievement. The projects grew more elaborate. Solomon bought male and female slaves, acquired large herds of cattle and flocks of sheep. I amassed silver and gold for myself and the treasure of kings and provinces. He accumulated possessions beyond imagination, each acquisition promising fulfillment. Entertainment became an obsession. I acquired male and female singers and a harem as well, the delights of a man's heart. Solomon surrounded himself with every form of pleasure, every entertainment known to ancient civilization. Music, dancing, feasting, nothing was denied. His harem grew to 700 wives of royal birth and 300 concubines. Each marriage was meant to bring political alliance, but Solomon sought something deeper. Perhaps one of these relationships would fill the growing void in his heart. Solomon's appetite for experience became insatiable. I denied myself nothing my eyes desired. I refused my heart no pleasure. My heart took delight in all my labor, and this was the reward for all my toil. Yet with each indulgence, the emptiness grew. The king, who once built God's temple, now built temples for foreign gods to please his wives. As Solomon grew old, his wives turned his heart after other gods, and his heart was not fully devoted to the Lord his God. His spiritual foundation began cracking. Success bred arrogance. Solomon began to see himself as the source of his achievements rather than God. I became greater by far than anyone in Jerusalem before me. In all this, my wisdom stayed with me. Pride was poisoning the gift of wisdom itself. Yet despite all his acquisitions, all his experiences, all his achievements, Solomon felt an increasing hollowness. The more he gained, the less satisfied he became. Each pleasure promised fulfillment, but delivered only temporary distraction from a deeper emptiness. So my heart began to despair over all my toilsome labor under the sun. Solomon would later write, the very success he had worked so hard to achieve was becoming his prison. The golden cage was closing around the wisest man on earth. Solomon realized he was trapped in a cycle. Work, achieve, acquire, enjoy, then return to work to fill the persistent void. What do people gain from all their labors at which they toil under the sun? The question haunted him day and night. The king looked around his kingdom, his palaces, his treasures, his wives, his achievements, and felt profound loneliness. Surrounded by thousands, he stood alone with the terrible realization that material success could not satisfy the human soul. Yet when I surveyed all that my hands had done and what I had toiled to achieve, everything was meaningless, a chasing after the wind. Nothing was gained under the sun. This was Solomon's shocking discovery after achieving everything. Sleep became elusive. Solomon would lie awake in his golden bed, staring at his jeweled ceiling, wondering why ultimate success felt like ultimate failure. The very gifts that made him famous, wisdom and wealth, had become sources of torment. He began observing life with different eyes. I have seen all the things that are done under the sun. All of them are meaningless, a chasing after the wind. The activities that once excited him now appeared as futile exercises in self-deception. Tell me in the comments, have you ever achieved something you desperately wanted, only to feel empty afterward? Have you experienced the disappointment of getting everything you thought would make you happy? Solomon's journey is becoming uncomfortably familiar, isn't it? Solomon's awakening to life's vanity wasn't gradual. It hit him like a thunderbolt. Vanity of vanities, he declared. All is vanity. The Hebrew word hebel means vapor, breath, something that appears substantial but dissolves when you try to grasp it. He began seeing through the illusions that captivate most people. Wealth, pleasure, achievement, fame, all were revealed as elaborate distractions from life's fundamental emptiness. For with much wisdom comes much sorrow. The more knowledge, the more grief. Death haunted Solomon's thoughts. The fate of the fool will overtake me also. What then do I gain by being wise? All human achievements end in the grave. The wise man and the fool both return to dust, their accomplishments forgotten. Work became meaningless. What do people gain from all their labors at which they toil under the sun? Generations come and generations go, but the earth remains forever. Human effort seemed insignificant against the backdrop of eternity. Solomon observed the futility of competition. I saw that all toil and all achievement spring from one person's envy of another. This too is meaningless, a chasing after the wind. People exhaust themselves trying to outdo others in a race that has no finish line. The injustices of life tormented him. In the place of judgment, wickedness was there. In the place of justice, wickedness was there. The world seemed upside down, with evil often triumphing over good, the wicked prospering while the righteous suffered. Solomon witnessed the oppression of the innocent. I saw the tears of the oppressed, and they have no comforter. Power was on the side of their oppressors, and they have no comforter. Where was justice? Where was meaning in such a world? Even human relationships failed to provide lasting satisfaction. Two are better than one, he observed, yet he had seen countless relationships dissolve, friendships betray, and love turn to indifference. Could anything be trusted? The randomness of life disturbed him deeply. I have seen something else under the sun. The race is not to the swift or the battle to the strong, nor does food come to the wise or wealth to the brilliant or favor to the learned, but time and chance happen to them all. Solomon's depression deepened. So I hated life, because the work that is done under the sun was grievous to me. All of it is meaningless, a chasing after the wind. The man who once loved wisdom now found existence unbearable. The king who had everything began to envy the dead, and I declared that the dead who had already died are happier than the living who are still alive, but better than both is the one who has never been born. Yet in his darkest moments, Solomon began to glimpse something beyond the vanity. I know that everything God does will endure forever. Nothing can be added to it, and nothing taken from it. Perhaps meaning existed outside the human realm. A new understanding began to dawn. While human achievements are temporary, while earthly pleasures disappoint, while material success proves hollow, perhaps the error was in seeking ultimate meaning in temporary things. Solomon realized he had been looking for eternal satisfaction in temporal experiences. God has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the human heart, yet no one can fathom what God has done from beginning to end. The emptiness in his soul wasn't a defect, it was a divine design. The human heart is made for eternity, not for the fleeting pleasures of this world. No wonder earthly achievements left him unsatisfied. They were never meant to fill that space. Thank you so much for staying with us through Solomon's dark night of the soul. Your dedication to this journey means everything. The comments and engagement from viewers like you inspire us to keep bringing these profound stories to light. But hold on, the best is yet to come. As Solomon aged, his perspective transformed completely. The man who once sought meaning in achievement found it in surrender. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the duty of all mankind. This wasn't religious obligation, it was life's fundamental reality. Solomon discovered that meaning comes not from what we accumulate, but from whom we serve. For God will bring every deed into judgment, including every hidden thing, whether it is good or evil. Our choices matter because someone beyond time is watching. He learned to find joy in simple pleasures without expecting them to provide ultimate satisfaction. Go, eat your food with gladness, and drink your wine with a joyful heart, for God has already approved what you do. Enjoy life's gifts without making them gods. Work regained meaning when Solomon stopped seeking personal glory. Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might, for in the realm of the dead where you are going, there is neither working nor planning nor knowledge nor wisdom. Relationships became precious when freed from the burden of providing ultimate fulfillment. Enjoy life with your wife, whom you love, all the days of this meaningless life that God has given you under the sun. Love deeply, but hold lightly. Solomon's final years were marked by profound humility. The king who once thought himself wise beyond measure now understood the limits of human knowledge. As you do not know the path of the wind, or how the body is formed in a mother's womb, so you cannot understand the work of God. He found peace in accepting mystery. Not everything needs to be understood, controlled, or conquered. There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. Wisdom lies in discerning what season you're in, not in controlling the seasons themselves. Solomon's legacy wasn't his wealth or buildings, it was his honesty about life's vanity and God's eternity. Now all has been heard. Here is the conclusion of the matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the duty of all mankind. The wisest king's greatest wisdom was admitting that ultimate wisdom belongs to God alone. Human life finds meaning not in human achievement, but in divine relationship. We are not gods, we are loved by God. That's enough. Solomon's journey from the peak of success to the valley of despair and finally to the mountain of wisdom shows us that meaning isn't found in what we have or achieve, but in who we serve and love. Even vanity has purpose. It drives us to seek the eternal. Solomon's story ends not with answers to all of life's mysteries, but with the right questions. Instead of asking, "How can I be happy?" he learned to ask, "How can I honor God?" Instead of, "What can I gain?" he asked, "How can I serve?" This shift changed everything. What do you think of Solomon's journey? Have you experienced the vanity he describes? Have you found yourself achieving goals only to feel empty afterward? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your story might encourage someone else walking through their own valley of meaninglessness. If this story resonated with you, please subscribe to Veil of the Bible and hit the notification bell. We're building a community of people who aren't afraid to ask life's deepest questions and explore ancient wisdom that speaks to modern hearts. Don't miss our previous video that perfectly complements this story. Click the link in the description to continue your journey of discovery. Until next time, remember, in a world of vanity, you are deeply loved by the one who transcends all vanity.